If it's your first time here and I'm able to pronounce your name, I will say hello to you. If it's your first time here and I cannot pronounce your name, I will pretend that I don't see your I will pretend that I don't see your comment.
If we can't pronounce your name, we usually just won't read it.
No, that's not true. I will pronounce it badly, and then I will ask you to pronounce it the right way. Guys, welcome to the Friday Bean. If this is your very first time watching, welcome, whether this is the replay or you're watching live with us. For those who are watching the replay, please keep in mind that these are catered to a live audience. So we often talk on topics and sometimes we get a little sidetracked, so please be patient with us. And if you want a shorter video, check my channel because I have tons of videos that are under, I would say like 15-ish minutes, and you can check those out. So before we get started today, because we are going to be talking about big topic, Etsy SEO, ranking on Etsy, I've got a couple little quick announcements that I need to make. The first one is that on Monday, we are opening enrollment for our first ever Alpha Holiday Boot Camp. That's going to be a big thing. That is going to actually start on September 26th through October 2nd. And basically, when you buy, it's like getting a concert ticket, right? It doesn't start on Monday. It's just you're securing your seat because we're only going to allow people entry from the 19th till the 22nd. Now, listen very carefully, though, because on the 19th, we are giving you guys a 35% discount. So if you want to save $35 on your entry, make sure that you set a reminder. There is a link down below in the video description that outlines exactly what the 7-day marketing bootcamp is going to contain, everything that you're going to get. You're also going to get a month of eRank Pro included with that. So check that out. And there's a little sign up link on that page, and that will allow me to send you an email notification when it opens. That way you don't miss that window. After that, the price is going up for 2 days, the 20th and 21st. It's going to go full price at $100. And then on the 22nd, it's going to go up to $120, with that extra $20 being allotted to St. Jude's. We actually did get approved by St. Jude to say that we are donating that money to St. Jude. So yeah, so check that out, guys. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's not live. Every day the boot camp is going to unlock at midnight Eastern time. That way, no matter what time zone you're in, you've got all day. They are going to be available for replay if you need to go back and watch them, and you're going to have access to replays until January of 2023.
Yep, it'll be December 31st at 11:59 p.m.
Yeah, and then we'll take it down and start prepping for the next year because it's a time-sensitive thing. We're actually going to show you how to build your full holiday marketing campaign for October, November, and the first part of December before shipping cutoff dates. So if you're interested in that, if you really need to up your marketing game, if you want to learn things like press releases, how to get featured in news and media before the holidays, if you want to learn how to get more engagement on your social media accounts that actually leads people to visit your Etsy shop or website or Amazon Handmade, because this is not a platform-specific webinar bootcamp, then yeah, this is for you. If you have any questions about it, you can ask those at the end of today's session.
Hey, Taya, make sure that your not just your computer volume or whatever's on it is turned up. The actual YouTube video itself should also have a volume. Make sure that's turned up because our audio is going through okay.
All right. Other little tidbits, just to let you guys know, I did an amazing video on Tuesday with Anthony Wolf. If you haven't checked that out, because the views on it aren't as high as I thought they'd be, make sure that you go back and watch that, because Anthony hung out and answered some of the biggest Etsy SEO questions that you guys have asked me related to the holidays specifically. So that's a great video. It's a fantastic interview. It's really short. Make sure that you go watch that after the bean. Last little tidbit is that this upcoming Friday, we will not be here for the Friday Bean, but we are going to pre-record it and stream it live. So you'll still be able to chat live. You'll still be able to talk to each other. You'll still be able to watch it live. It's just going to be pre-recorded streaming live because Mark and I have a concert to go to. But we're going to do Instagram account reviews. So basically, we're going to audit Instagram accounts. And I believe next Tuesday, or this upcoming Tuesday, I'm going to make a post in the Handmade Alpha Facebook community to drop your Instagram accounts And we're just going to pick a couple random ones from that feed and do Instagram account audits for your actual business accounts. So if that's something that you're interested in doing, make sure that you join the Handmade Alpha Facebook community. It's linked down below. And just keep an eye out for that post on Tuesday sometime, and hopefully you get picked. But are
HAA students automatically in the boot camp? Yes, you are. Just like everything else, other than other full-sized courses that we build in the future, HAA students get almost everything for free. So,
yeah. So you guys will get, and I know we haven't given you any information on it because we haven't figured out how we're gonna put you in.
I have.
Oh, you have? Okay.
Yep, I figured it out.
Well, that's why I haven't talked about it, because he's figured it out and I haven't.
I've told her 9 times. She's just busy and forgets.
I'm scatterbrained.
It's
but
fine.
You'll get it. Well, you'll get an email about it, and you'll get a post in the Handmade Alpha Academy student campus about it. So,
who are you seeing in concert? It's a 3-day festival, so a lot of people. But that's it. We don't have any other questions. Actually, we did have one quick question. Where was it? Oh, people asking about the bank account verification email.
That's real.
It's real. Yeah, go verify your bank account information. A lot of people are having trouble with it. I've been answering some questions in the E-Rank group. Apparently, a lot of people are having issues. They'll go in and enter the same bank account information that they had previously verified, and it's just not working, or it tells them it's invalid.
Yeah,
make sure
people got locked out of their accounts.
Yeah, if you're in a specific country with a country code that goes before it, a lot of the times and I saw a lot of people commenting this, you might have a country code that goes before it. So if you're in the U.S., for example, I think it's either 00 or 01. Try adding that beforehand. I think it's 00. Don't verify that with me, though. Call your bank and figure out if there's a country code that goes in front of your routing number if it doesn't work. So.
Yeah. And for those of you who are suspicious of the email, you should have the information on your Etsy, either on your Etsy dashboard or in your Etsy finance section anyway. So just keep an eye out for it. If you didn't get the email, I think they're rolling those out in batches. So. Yeah.
Always try to do things through the Etsy site directly. Don't click on emails if you can't. If you don't know how to verify who they're coming from, don't click on emails asking you to verify things.
Yes. Yeah.
Anyway.
All right, guys. Today I need my Trello. Today we're gonna.
It's right here.
Oh, you want to drop it down below so we can have the chat and that up at the same time?
No.
Oh, okay. So we're going to be talking about ranking on Etsy today. I'm going to probably screen share some eRank with you today if that's something that you guys want to see, if you need to see some visuals for it. A couple of quick things. When it comes to Etsy SEO, we have been getting an increasing number of people who are reporting, well, not reporting, but coming and emailing me and talking about coaches or YouTubers who are giving bad advice. And that's one of the things that Anthony Wolf, CEO of eRank, and I talked about in our video on Tuesday. You need to make sure that you are trusting sources who get their information from Etsy directly. It's one of those things where people love to speculate and people love to make guesses. And Mark and I do speculate sometimes based on what we know about Etsy's algorithm. But we always say when we're speculating.
Yeah, and there's usually always some basis behind it. And if there isn't, we always disclose that it's just a guess.
Yeah. So don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to be suspicious. Don't be afraid to question us when it comes to things. But
that's how we learn.
Right. Exactly. But 99.9% of the time, everything that we teach is based on things that come directly from Etsy or directly from eRank if it's something eRank related. And eRank relies on Etsy's API and third-party data in order to do what it does, which is give you guys great keyword research and sales tools and things like that. So let's go ahead and dive in. The first thing that I want you guys to make sure that you're doing this month, and I know that this sounds crazy for some of you who aren't ready for Christmas time, but you need to make sure that you have all of your items that you have made and ready to go. Get those suckers listed.
Get them up.
Yes, get them listed this month. And the reason that I say that is because every time that you've got a listing, floating around in Etsy search, that is a keyword opportunity. You have keyword optimized that listing, hopefully, with, your title, your tags, a couple keywords in your descriptions obviously aren't going to hurt too bad. But you want to make sure that you are creating opportunities for people to find you in search. And every single listing that you have, as I always say, it's like having another fishing pole out in the water. You have another opportunity. If I had, If I offered you 10 lottery tickets and I said, here, scratch off 10 lottery tickets, you wouldn't say, oh, no, thank you, I'll just have one. You know, you want to have as many opportunities to win as possible. And every single listing that you have out in the water is an opportunity not only for that item to sell, but for someone to find your shop and discover it and search. And you can accomplish this by making sure that you're using a good variety of keywords and you know, making sure that you have different avenues of search for people to find your shop. Every single listing is almost like a little highway that leads directly to your storefront where hopefully somebody buys a couple items. So get those listings up if you've been procrastinating. If they're Christmas related, it doesn't matter. We're already starting to see those first searches at eRank. I think in August, it was like over 43,000 searches for Christmas in August.
I don't remember. I don't know the number off the top of my head.
It was high. It was like 43,000 something.
I got too many numbers to remember that.
But people are already starting to look for these items. So even if it feels early, even if you're like, no, it's not even Halloween.
Goodness.
Get those listings up in your shop because you can't rank for listings that aren't listed, obviously. Next thing that you want to do is start, especially in September, start looking at your stats. Look at the listings that you already have in your shop that are not bringing in any traffic. You want to make sure that if you're doing any refreshing of your listings, you're getting that done as soon as possible because it's going to take a little bit of time for you to rank and search. You know, Etsy has to be able to identify some of the terms that you want to be known for. They have to be able to identify how people are interacting with your listings once they're finding you for these terms. There are a lot of factors that play in. So you want to make sure that you are going through your Etsy stats, looking at your listings that aren't performing well, and start doing your SEO now. Start doing your keyword optimization now. Start doing your keyword research now. And try to, you know, revive these listings that have just been sitting. That way, during the holiday season, you have a better opportunity of being found. Everybody's got a couple listings that, like, no matter what they do, they just...
My bad.
That no matter what they do, they just don't perform very well. It happens to everybody. Most sellers are going to have like one or two best-selling items that tend to pull a majority of the weight of their shop. It's like the two dogs on the sled team that are pulling like most of the pack and leading most of the pack. You just want to make sure that if you have some listings that aren't performing at all, you're able to get in there now and start doing a little bit of sprucing up. Now, obviously, and here's our golden rule at eRank and the Handmade Alphas, don't touch any of your listings that are performing well. Even if the SEO isn't good, even if there's like keywords in there that you're like, man, I feel like I could do better. Performing well is whatever is good for you. So, for example, if you have a listing that sells every day, that listing's the one that's performing well. If you don't get any sales, but you've got one listing that, you know, occasionally gets a sale, that's your best performing listing. You don't want to touch the keywords of listings that are doing well in your shop because if you go tinkering around with things, you could remove a phrase that you're being found for, and then that listing no longer is an avenue that's bringing people in your shop. So start with the listings that aren't performing. And like I said, you can do this with your Etsy stats. Start diving in. Did we have any questions?
we had a few questions. Hold off on too many questions until we get through the topic. That way all the complainy, whiny babies don't get upset that we're not on topic the whole time. And yes, you are a complainy, whiny baby.
The replay people.
You know who you are. I saw a video on TikTok about reposting your items once a week, and I was like, oh, no.
No.
Yeah, feel free to send those TikTokers to me. I thought about making a TikTok and just saying, this is bad advice. This is bad advice on all of the bad advice TikTok. There are so many crappy TikTok Etsy coaches.
He wants to start drama.
I do.
He's not even on
the Etsy YouTuber fights. Telling you, we're gonna do it eventually.
Yeah, don't do that.
Keep knocking them out. How long do things have to be listed before they start being seen? When I first started, I could tweak my listings to get the page. To get on the first page, but I know that's not how it works now. No, it is not, because personalization didn't exist yet.
Yeah. So, how long do the things have to be listed before they start being seen? They're in search immediately. It's just, it takes time for those listings to build a listing quality score and for Etsy to assign them placement and search. So there's no real answer to that. The time frame that it takes Etsy to collect enough data on that item in order to assign it a listing quality score and determine a place and search for it is, it can be as long as 60 to 90 days according to Etsy. Sometimes it can be shorter than that, but 60 to 90 days is typically what Etsy says. So I recommend once you've made changes to a listing, you don't touch it again until 60 to 90 days later, unless just you're getting nothing. I would say, like, you know, if you're going 4 weeks and you have not noticed any traffic at all, then yeah, it's not like you're going to mess anything up by going in and tweaking it. But 60 to 90 days is what Etsy says. Now, that doesn't mean that your listing isn't being seen. It doesn't mean that it's not, you know, that you're not ranking. There's this common misconception that when you first list an item that, you know, Etsy's not going to put it in search for 60 to 90 days. And that's just not true. It's ranking. As Anthony said in our video on Tuesday, it might not be ranking well, but if you've added it in your shop, it's ranking for something. It might just be ranking really, really low. Etsy does give brand new listings a slight boost in search, though. That way they have the opportunity to really gauge how shoppers are interacting with that listing. So that's like a nice little window. Now, there are ways to abuse that window, like coaches who say, constantly renew your listings every day to keep writing that boost. Well, don't do that, because if you're constantly boosting that listing by renewing it and Etsy sees that it's still not selling, they're just going to drop it lower and lower in search. So you're actually harming your listing by doing that. But yeah, so there's no real answer to that. They're going to be seen immediately. It's just depends on keywords and how long it's going to take Etsy to really decide where your listing's going to sit and search. Anything else?
For the video listing, should it be about specific listings, i.e. how to wear the item, or could it be the same video repeated, how the item will come packaged like an unboxing?
Anything you want.
Yep, it's totally up to you.
Yep, totally up to you. There's no, I would say that a demo of that exact product is better. But if you're trying to hurry and you're crunched for time, if you have to put the same video into all your listings, then...
We're going to hold off on questions because now they're just like firing them off. We'll wait till we're done through the topic and then we'll get to questions. That way nobody gets left out.
Okay. But yeah, if you can get a product demo, that would be best. If you're short on time, stick in one of the same videos to all of them and then, you know, work to create individual ones later. So we'll come back to questions here in a minute. We, during our interview Tuesday, talked about holiday keywords. And this is one that everybody asks me, you know, should I go in and change all my keywords to holiday keywords? Holiday keywords are great. Even Anthony said, you know, if you want to experiment with holiday keywords, that's cool. Like gifts, Christmas gifts for mom, Christmas gifts for grandma, stocking stuffer gifts. You know, that's fine. But keep in mind the refining process that a customer goes through when they're shopping. So, for example, if I wanted to buy a gift for Mr. Moore, I might go to Etsy and type in Christmas gifts for men. You know, that great keyword, nice long keyword, probably one that many of you use in your own listings, Christmas gifts for men. But then I'm scrolling through the page and I notice, in particular, I really like these custom whiskey glasses that are engraved with, you know, initials or something. I'm like, oh, Mr. Moore would love one of these. Maybe not this exact style, though. So I go back to that Etsy search bar, and I'm no longer searching for Christmas gifts for men. I used Christmas gifts for men as a way to get an idea of what I actually wanted.
For a catalog.
Right, exactly. So I looked at watches, I looked at underwear, I looked at wallets, I looked at, you know, all these things, but it was the whiskey glass that caught my eye. So then I go back up to that search bar, and I type in monogram whiskey glass. So though I did start my initial search with Christmas gifts for men, what I ended up doing was refining that search for a more specific type of item.
Which is what most people do.
Exactly. When you guys search, do you typically start with that very first search and find something on the first page and immediately buy it? No, you usually use that first search as a way to kind of gather ideas, and then you start adding more terms into that search bar until you get closer to what it is you're actually looking for. Most people aren't going to land on, you know, very first search, very first page on the very first search, and they're going to buy that very first item that they see. Yeah, that it's just not something that realistically happens as often. So my suggestion when it comes to actually keyword optimizing your listings for the holidays is make sure that you are mostly emphasizing the keywords that most accurately describe what your item is. These are going to promote shoppers who have buyer intent. So maybe your main keyword is monogrammed custom whiskey glass, great gift for men. You know, that the main thing that we want people to know, and the shoppers that we're hoping to attract, are those who are looking for that custom monogrammed whiskey glass. But it's almost like the great gifts for men is like a little bonus. And when we're thinking about our tags especially, how many of you get like 8 tags out and then you're sitting there and you're like, oh, I got to think of 13 tags. I can only think of 8. What else do I put in here? This is a good opportunity to start tossing in some of those holiday gift terms, you know, stocking stuffers for kids, gifts for mom, Christmas gifts. This is a great opportunity to experiment with those terms. Just don't focus so much on trying to optimize for these very, very highly competitive, nondescript keywords.
Because that's what everyone who doesn't know what they're doing is doing.
Exactly, because then you're competing with everybody who says, that Christmas gift, clearly this marble tumbler is a Christmas gift. Well, there's nothing Christmas about this.
Which is why you need a balance of keywords that are high competition, but also a balance that are relatively no competition. I mean, it's subjective, and it depends on your industry, so take that with a grain of salt. But when you're competing with a mass group, if you're still wearing the bright pink shirt and everybody else is wearing black, you're still going to stand out, right? But it's a lot easier if you're in a small group and everybody's wearing a similar shirt, you're still more likely to get picked out, right? So optimize for your industry.
Yeah, so it's almost like those holiday terms, those indescript holiday terms are going to be for the looky-loos. You know, you might get some sales from them. It's cool to put some of those in there. It would be great to get a couple sales from them. But the keywords that are going to give you the most results are going to be those keywords that are describing what the item is. Because if I click on a listing and it just says great gift for dad, but it doesn't say what the item is, you know, that for one, as a shopper, that's going to throw me off, because what I want to see, especially when I'm on a search page, is I want that little snippet of a title to tell me what that item is. Now, most of the time, if it's a mug, I can tell that it's a mug. But if I see a mug and the title, that little snippet that I can see on Etsy just says great gifts for dad, that looks gross, right?
It looks yucky.
That looks, as Pam said yesterday during our eRank Q&A, she's like, that looks like wish.com, you know. So mainly focus on the descript keywords that explain what your item is, that describe what that item is. And then think of your holiday terms as your little bonuses. And then when the holiday passes, you can always swap those out. You could always swap out, you know, great Christmas gift for dad. You could switch it to great Valentine's Day gift for dad. And, you know, it kind of makes those a little bit more interchangeable. And this leads to another one, and we just saw somebody, or Mark just saw somebody in the eRank group post.
Yep. Shout out if you're here.
I feel so bad. Don't edit all your listings at once. Don't
do that. Don't ever do that.
Don't go in and I did a whole shop overhaul, and I did all my tags and titles. I edited all my tags and titles at once.
F to pay respects in the comments.
unless they're drafted, like they're you know, saved in your drafts, and they're new, and you're gonna add them all to your shop. That's fine. You can edit all those because they're not active. But don't go into all your active listings and start tweaking things, because the thing is, there's no way telling. Every time that you add new keywords into your shop, it's an experiment, right? It is an experiment, and by going in and changing all of your keywords, it's almost like quitting your job before you have another job lined up. You're almost, it's like you're risking everything, right? You are taking big bets. You are betting all of your chips at the same time. You want to make sure that you're doing those changes small. Don't do them all at once. And use eRank's Track Changes tool when you make those changes to listings, because the Track Changes tool, that's going to show you exactly what the results of those changes are. So if you switch out a couple keywords in your tags and titles, for one, eRank's going to document what changes you made. That way, if you really mess up, you can switch them back, because it's going to catalog that in the exact date that you made those changes. But it's also going to tell you exactly how many views, favorites, and sales were resulted from those changes. So that's a good way to say, like, okay, I made this change and suddenly my views shot up. This was a good change. Or, oh no, I made this change and all my views dropped off. This is a really bad change. I need to go switch it back. So eRank's Track Changes, really useful tool. I recommend using that anytime you're going to make any changes to your listings. And I also recommend when you make those changes, make sure that you watch them for like 4 weeks before you go and try to tweak again. Like we said, 60 to 90 days is what Etsy says. But I would recommend giving it about 4 weeks if you're not seeing any traction at all. And then, you're probably safe to make more small changes. The next thing that I want to stress to you guys is make sure that you can identify what signals you're sending to Etsy. Because Etsy, they want to be able to figure out what you're all about. They want to look at your shop and say, oh, Betty wants to specialize in crocheted doilies, because Betty is clearly only listing crocheted doilies. She wants to be known for crocheted doilies. Therefore, if someone is searching for crocheted doilies, we know that we need to recommend Betty's shop, because she's got lots of sales for crocheted doilies. She has lots of crocheted doily listings that these customers might like. And she has lots of good reviews for her crocheted doilies. People who buy them are satisfied. So we feel confident recommending Betty. Now, we always have people who say, I sell a little bit of everything. If you're selling a little bit of everything and you're actively making sales, that's great. You keep doing what you're doing. If you sell a little bit of everything, but you're not making sales, you just happen to have a little bit of everything, it might be time to start deciding what you want to be known for. Now, I always like to use 𝔸𝕚𝕚𝕝 as a good example of this. 𝔸𝕚𝕚𝕝 does pet portraits. And you can get your pet portraits printed on cards and mugs and blankets and all kinds of items from 𝔸𝕚𝕚𝕝, stickers. You can get your pet portraits. She's not known for cards and mugs and stickers and blankets. That's not what she specializes in. She specializes in pet portraits, and those pet portraits are printed on those items. So she doesn't specialize in mugs and blankets and things. She specializes in pet portraits. So when you look at your shop, try to figure out what the cohesive glue is. What is the cohesive element there? Is it a specific style? Is it a type of target audience? For example, maybe you go to a gothic clothing store and they sell, chokers and cool gothic wall sconces and big Ouija board rugs and, candles and gothic clothes and shoes. It's not that they're not specializing in rugs. They're not specializing in home decor.
Goth.
They're not specializing in clothing. They're specializing in their target customer, which is, which is the goth demographic. So take a good look at your shop and decide for yourself what signals that you are sending to Etsy. What is it that you are telling Etsy? And what is it that you're telling your customers? If a customer goes into your shop, can they look around and say, oh yeah, this is for me? Because if not, you're trying to appeal to everybody. And as we always say, appealing to everybody leads to appealing to no one. So really start thinking about what type of signals you're currently sending both to Etsy and your target customers. The very last thing that I want to talk about is Spotted on Etsy, which is a tool on erank.com.
Yes.
We had somebody yesterday talking about Spotted on Etsy in the eRank Q&A, and that's what made me think of it. But Spotted on Etsy is a tool where within the eRank Monitor tool, you can enter a couple keywords that you want to be known for. So, for example, if you want to be known for, minimalist gold jewelry, you might go into the Monitor tool, type in minimalist gold jewelry as a term that you want to be monitored for, And then on your eRank dashboard, eRank will show you if you're being spotted on Etsy for that term, or if Etsy was, it's basically showing you where your rank would be without personalization. So make sure that you know those keywords. Like we talked about, making sure that you are specializing in a topic, making sure that you're specializing in a type of product or a type of target customer, like goths or like pet portraits, whatever that might be. And make sure that you're entering those keywords into that monitor tool. That way you can kind of keep an eye on them. You can keep an eye on your spotted on Etsy and see if you're actually being spotted for those terms that you're really trying to be known for. And sometimes it's okay to change direction. Maybe Gothic, for some reason, nobody's searching that. Maybe you need to change it to, I don't know. Maybe you realize, oh, Gothic isn't the term. Maybe it's Vikings. Maybe it's this. Maybe it's that. Maybe my audience would be more pagan. Maybe pagans is the audience that I need to be appealing to. It's okay to kind of change direction if you realize that overarching topic isn't the thing that you're being found for. Just being knowledgeable and making sure that you're keeping an eye on those terms so you can make sure that you're actually being found for the things that you want to be found for. That's really, really important. Otherwise, you're just taking shots in the dark. So if you guys have any questions, I know that this was kind of a quick topic today. I would love to get questions related to this topic. If you want to see any demonstrations with eRank related to any of the things that we talked about today when it comes to Etsy SEO, feel free to let us know. Down below in the video description, there is actually a really great free workshop that I did called The Science of Etsy Success. That workshop is going to cover how Etsy's algorithm works and the factors that Etsy tells us, play into your search ranking on Etsy. Now, these aren't all the factors that play in. Etsy doesn't tell us all of their secrets. But there are 7 factors that Etsy do tell us about. So you can check that out if you're more into the scientific side and you want to learn a little bit more about how it works. What I often find is that once you start breaking down the mechanics of how something works, it is a lot easier to learn how to put it all back together. So if you can break down how the algorithm works, it's a lot easier to figure out how to create a listing that appeals to that algorithm, right? So it's like when you get to know your spouse, it's a lot easier to learn how to decide what dinner to make because you learn what they like. So yeah, let's dive in.
Get questions. I'm not going to go and scroll up super far. So if you have a question,
you can kill the Trello. I'm done with the Trello.
Yeah, if you have a question, go ahead and post it.
Yeah.
I'm only going to do what I can see here, starting at Dulcie's comment where she tagged us. There we go. In my bunny shop, I use a lot of the same keywords in all my 75 plus listings so far. Is that a good tactic to shout in Etsy's face that these are what I want to rank for?
Yeah, if you're a bunny shop and you want Etsy to know that you're a bunny shop, it absolutely would not hurt to make sure that your listings that all have bunny related items all say bunny, 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 because you want to make sure that anybody searching for bunny or rabbit, they're finding your items. So absolutely, especially if all of those items have bunnies. Now, if one of them has a turtle on it, obviously don't put bunny on the listing. But yeah, that's great. You're sending strong signals to Etsy, letting them know what you want to be known for.
And they reposted their question.
Oh, okay.
I love to see you guys that help us to see the long-term picture instead of just aiming for the immediate gratification. Yep.
Absolutely.
That's what we like to prepare for. Just like literally anything in life, the immediate gratification always gives you that post-gratification clarity. We'll just call it that.
Yeah.
And usually isn't a good thing.
Yeah,
instant gratification in almost anything is never good, other than food, maybe.
Yeah, that's like all the Etsy coaches that will tell you, like, go renew all your listings in your Etsy shop and pay the 20 cents, and then watch as your rank goes up.
That's really stupid advice.
Well, your rank will go up for a minute because that's how Etsy's boosting works. Your rank will go up, and then it'll drop back down. So it'll look like, wow, this Etsy expert, they helped me so much. They helped me rank. And then it starts to all fall back down. But by that time, you see this a lot with paid SEO services. You'll think that they did something amazing for your listings. And then you start falling back down. But by that time, they already have your money and you're not able to get a hold of them again. Or they're like, oh, yes, this is normal. I will, if you pay me another $20, I will boost them again. And then they'll just go in and start tinkering and give you another boost. And it just turns into a vicious perpetual cycle.
Sorry if I'm leaning and it's a little confusing.
Why are you leaning?
My mouse.
Oh.
And because I've been working out, so it's really sore for me to hold my arm out.
Oh.
Is it a good idea to post a listing twice of the same product, different listings, different titles, tags, pictures in a different order, so different thumbnail?
A/B split testing is always good. It just I wonder, are you doing it for the purpose of experimenting so that you can look at the data? If so, that's great. If you're doing it because you're trying to make as many listings as possible as a customer, I would be confused if I went into a shop and there was 2 of the same items, because
Trying to compare the two and see what's different between the two.
yeah, I would be sitting there like, which one's better? I can't tell the difference between these. How do I know which one to buy? Well, I'm just going to leave because I don't know which one's better. I feel like I'm going to buy the wrong one. I would definitely do these in small quantities and do them for the purpose of testing. And then once you find which of those listings does better, based on whatever test you're running, whether it be a thumbnail test or an SEO test, just a test to see which keywords are performing better, then, after a while, I would make sure that I remove the listing that doesn't perform as well. That way you're not confusing your customers. But I do love testing. I love, duplicating listings to run tests.
I'm a digital seller currently making about $1,000 a month. My question is, how can I scale up my business? Should I expand my niche?
That's a pretty subjective question. There are a couple things that you can do. Thankfully, with digital, you're not having to put in a ton of extra work when it comes to creating your process or your product.
Getting it seen by more people.
Yeah, I would say that with digital, you do have that leeway to have as many listings in your shop as you want. I would definitely make sure that your niche isn't too narrow, but make sure that you're not throwing in a niche that's totally unrelated. So, for example, if my niche was like Christian moms, I wouldn't want to incorporate a niche for, cross-country bikers. It's just, there's conflicting messages that are going to be bouncing into each other and knocking into each other, and people who get to my shop are going to be confused. But if it's a shop for Christian moms and I decide that I'm also going to create a Christian grandma line, that's sure. That works. Those things make sense together. Nobody's going to go in my shop and say, this doesn't make any sense to me. So yeah, you can expand your niche. You can try to offer more product variations. You can, if you're actually trying to scale, scaling is trying to make your life a little bit easier and accommodate a large number of orders, while also maintaining a growth rate. So there are a lot of different ways you can do it. Obviously, social media is going to be a great method. If you can try to build a viral audience. I like to use Planner Kate as a great example. She doesn't necessarily do digital, but Planner Kate is the top seller on Etsy. I assume she's still top. She's been top for 5 years. She does these really cool viral launches where she gets everybody ready for new products, and then she lists, limited quantities, and they sell out. There's all kinds of things that you can do, though. But in terms of expanding your niche, yeah, just make sure it's congruent.
Mommy doesn't want you.
I do not want him right now. He scratches me. He digs his nails in.
How do you see the changes that eRank stores?
Yeah, you want to give me...
No, but I will. Move everything.
You have to. I have to be able to show them. Yeah, so that's going to be in the track changes tool. You want to... There we go. All right, so what you're going to want to do is go into your listings. Nope. Go into your active listings. Right now I am in AlphaDapt, which is both our Alpha merch store and the store that we use to run tests and experiments on the eRank side. So these are all of your active listings, and you want to go and click track changes for these listings. I believe that if you have a free membership, you can track one listing. So make sure that you use it wisely and just use it on whatever listing you're experimenting with. Everybody else has a different number. I can't remember exactly, but you can see it on erank.com/plans if you want to know the exact quota for each. So I'll go ahead and click track changes on this hat. Now, what I recommend doing is track your changes 1 week before you make your changes, because if you don't have any data to start with, you're not going to know what impact the changes had, right? You have to be able to compare them to something. So click track changes, and then wait a week, and then come back, make your SEO changes, tags, titles. You could even do your thumbnail if you wanted to track changes to that. And then come back and start looking at the data that it's collected. So let me find one of our listings. I've got a couple listings that I've tracked in the past just so we can kind of see. This one usually has decent ones. So I'm going to click Show Changes on this 𝔸𝕒𝕒𝕒𝕒 hoodie. And I don't know where we made our changes. But when you make changes, it will highlight whatever has been changed. That way you can say, okay, on September 7th, I made these changes and they led to a new view. Cool. That means that these changes were probably good. Or, oh no, I haven't had any views at all since I made these changes. Maybe this change wasn't so good. Maybe I should go revert it. And then you can go back in and copy your old title and paste it back in, or copy your old tags and paste those back in. For example, you can see on, let's see, the 14th, 15th, and 16th, this listing got extra views. So if I would have made a change here, that tells me that it's a good change. So yeah, that's the gist of it. And then, like I said, I would just keep an eye on it for about 4 weeks would be a decent thing. I know you see red and it's like, oh no, what did I do wrong? No, negative red in sales means that you made a sale. So -1 means you are -1 in stock, which means you've sold one. So
hello, thank you.
Thank you.
We love you too. I have not responded to your email. I'm not doing the Discord thing until it'll be the week after next. I'll be starting to work on it. I've already got, and to respond to you a little bit, I'm not programming it from scratch. I'm using a built-in bot, or one of the built-in bots. So yeah, we'll be working off of that. That workshop is chef's kiss.
He's excited for
I'm really excited to get the Discord going.
Oh, he's excited for his concert. So he's like not in work mode anymore.
No. Well, I'm working on the frickin' workshop all
That's
week next
true.
week. I don't have time to work on Discord.
Yeah.
Is it bad to have duplicate listings with different keywords? Oh, we already answered that.
Yeah.
Could it hurt me for the holiday season if Etsy thought something was copyright and then they flagged it and unflagged it because they realized it wasn't copyright?
Sure.
Nah, if they unflagged it, it should be fine.
Yeah, it should be fine if you disputed it and it turned out it wasn't. Sometimes, you know, there are companies that will make like copyright claims on products that don't belong to them. I just had that happen with a YouTube video. Somebody tried to claim rights to music that I used that I got from the creator, and it was free, royalty-free music. So I had to dispute it. It's just sometimes people do that to try to be mean. But as long as it was unflagged.
That's usually sketchy, like Indian or Asian companies that, yeah.
Yeah.
YouTube is not very good at filtering that kind of crap yet.
But yeah, it should be fine.
Should be fine. Question, if I have a listing that isn't getting any views, is it possible that it's just because my shop is small and not because of a ranking issue? Only about 800 views a month, but growing slowly. Growth takes time.
Yeah.
There's no real way to judge that yet.
I don't think that not having... being new obviously is it's going to take you a little while to start, building traction. What I recommend is if you're new and you're not getting the views that you want, try to funnel some of those people from social media to your store, because you're going to build listing quality scores through positive actions made in your shop. Sales of products, reviews of products, those are the most important things that you can do for a listing to help it build a listing quality score, which is what's going to make it rank higher in search and be seen by more people. So if you can start advertising those products on social media, or even, if you've got friends and family who are like, oh, I want to buy one of your things, you could say, oh, well, rather than you coming to my house and, giving me cash for it, can you buy it direct from my Etsy shop? That way it's, it's tracked with my taxes and everything, and I can keep everything together, and then you can leave a review on it. Now, obviously, don't do any shilling. That's where people, you ask family to buy things and then you give them the money back for it. That way they can leave reviews. Don't do that, because that's illegal. But you can, if you've got family who wants to buy your items, then ask them to do it right through your Etsy shop, because that's going to help your listing quality score as well. And advertising on social, bring in that positive activity in your shop.
I'm always confused by the category section.
What specifically, Tina? Let me know.
500 plus bookmark listings, and I still rarely show up above page 4 for the term bookmark, but I'm usually on top of page 1 for bookmarks. What gives?
Hey, that's still, page 4 for...
Is that you're actually searching it, or is that the actual like organic with eRank? Like, is that the rank that is that the page that eRank is showing you on, or is that the page that you're actually showing up on?
I'm assuming that Miranda would know that it would need to be eRank for it to be accurate. But I would say if you're showing up on page 4 for the term bookmark,
which is probably one of the most saturated.
That's great. Yeah. That's fantastic. I would say that is a hard cookie to crack, and I would be happy. A hard
cookie to crack.
A hard cookie to crack. A hard egg to crack. A hard glow stick to crack. I would be happy with those results. Not that I don't think that you should, continue to strive to get to page 3 or 2 or 1, but I would definitely be happy with those numbers because that's a very saturated term.
Do you recommend continuing to sell jewelry on Etsy while selling jewelry on your website?
Yeah, why not?
Why not? As long as you're able to balance the two. Inventory management's always something that I warn people about. Like, are you going to have separate inventories for the two? Are you going to have some sort of system that you can integrate that will change the inventory on your site if you make a sale on Etsy, and you don't want to end up overselling a product that you can't replicate. So
yeah,
just be wary.
Absolutely.
And be careful of how you funnel. Don't obviously post your website within your Etsy, because you can't do that.
Yeah, don't tell people like, oh, you can buy it on my website for cheaper.
Right, exactly. You can include package inserts and things with your website on it. You can advertise. If you get people on your email list through Etsy, you can send them links to your website through the email list. Etsy has no jurisdiction over that, so
yeah.
Make sure I'm not. I want to launch a Christmas collection mid-October. Is that too late? I feel like I should already have it out.
Late is better than never. If you can get it out sooner, I would recommend it, though. Mid-October is kind of late, but if it's your only option, then just do what you can. If you can get it out sooner, that would be great. But if not, just do what you can. We're going to see the biggest spike in sales for holiday items in November, especially during Cyber Week. And keep in mind, guys, that's what we're preparing for in the upcoming Alpha Holiday Bootcamp. The link for that's down below. That's a 7-day bootcamp that's going to help you build up for Cyber Week. Last year on Cyber Week, during Etsy's little cyber sale, and Cyber Week is Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, that Sunday, and then Cyber Monday. During the 5-day Cyber Week sale, Etsy reported that their gross merchandise sales were at $43,000 per minute. $43,000.
That's a lot.
$43,000 per minute. There is more traffic on Etsy on Black Friday than any other day a year. So even if you're not planning to host a holiday sale, it doesn't matter. People are sitting down to buy at that time, whether your items are on sale or not.
That's Bill Gates money.
People are ready to buy. So that's what the Holiday Bootcamp is all about, building up your holiday marketing campaign. That way you can actually like rev up rather than just trying to get people into your shop on those key holiday shopping dates. It's going to help you to ramp up and get people interested long before. And the information for that's down below. You can get in at a 35% off discount on the 19th, which is this Monday. So make sure that you set an alarm because that's only going to last for 24 hours. But details on that are down below. And if you have questions about that bootcamp, feel free to get those in the chat as well. Because this is your last opportunity to ask us live. It'll be closed by...
We could technically do a Friday Bean next week. Lost Lands doesn't start till 2:30, and no one I care about goes on till like 7 o'clock at night.
Yeah, but we got to travel to our Airbnb.
Which we can't go to until 3. We'll see.
Yeah.
As of right now, we're planning to not do one, but there's a small chance we may. I have some holiday items listed, but would you recommend I get them all listed now as opposing to dropping items throughout the month? I wanted to build social media engagement listing in packs.
You could do either. I would say that getting them listed as soon as possible is gonna get them shoppable as soon as possible. People are already shopping for Christmas items. Do we have the ability to pop eRank open one more time? I mean, you could just put it up there and keep it up there for the...
No, because then you can't see your mouse because you're blind.
Can you type in Christmas? just a minute. So this is last year. We can see the ramp up, right? And obviously November's at the peak. This is September of last year. This is August of last year, okay?
People are already searching for it.
Here's August of this year, which means...
It's literally at the exact same point. I mean, even look at the freaking numbers. 45, 45, 810, 45, 820. It is literally 10 away from the exact same as last year.
So we are...
So expect similar.
Yeah, we are literally... We're down here. You want to be completely ready by like...
No.
Wait.
We're here.
Yeah, we're here.
We just don't have the data for that yet because we can't get real-time data.
Right.
We're here. So if you're much later than this, you're already... We're like... we're like right here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you don't have a whole lot of time.
That's why I said like mid-October. By October, we're already almost at the top. You want to be ready now. Yes. That's why the boot camp that we're doing is...
Yeah, if you have holiday-specific listings and things like that, you need to be like getting that stuff roaring, ready to go.
And every day I recommend clicking the hot button as well. This is going to tell you what the most searched terms were yesterday.
It'll take you straight to my Instagram.
What?
The hot button.
The hot button, yeah. Right to his Instagram.
Right to my Instagram.
But this is going to tell you what the most searched terms on Etsy were yesterday. So this is a really cool little tool. And usually...
Chihuahua shirt.
Usually, if we scroll through, we can occasionally find some Christmas terms in here. But keep an eye on this every day because this is a really useful tool that not a lot of people realize. They see that hot button and they don't know.
Mm-hmm. You need to be careful scrolling through here on live.
Oh, if it's inappropriate, then it's fine. Doesn't look like there were any Christmas terms right now, but keep looking because you'll start to see what the most searched terms were.
Yes. I don't know because you made me lose
No,
it.
it'll be down farther, closer to the...
Somewhere, no, you're wrong.
Oh. I sell crazy bunny people stuff, Etsy, notice me.
There we go. The bundle listings sell better than single items.
Yeah, I would make sure that they're listed both ways, but depending on the items, Amber Marie, who sells, like I said, pet portraits on cards and things, she created a huge bundle. I told her, I was like, you've got these small bundles, but you should make like a bundle of like 30 cards. And she did, and they started selling right away. So people love big bundles, especially if it's something, giftable, because then they can distribute out giftable items.
We had somebody talking about alphas. Can alpha alumni register for the boot camp, or should we just go back to the Agile Academy and watch those modules?
The boot camp's a separate thing, Angela.
The boot camp is a completely separate thing, and you will be getting it for free. Do not register for the boot camp if you are an existing Handmade Alpha Academy paid student, please.
Yeah, because I don't want anybody to accidentally buy it and then like 6 months later they message us and say, I didn't realize.
We're doing refunds until the end of the first day. That way, if it's not content you think is going to work for you, you can refund. After that, no refunds.
Other than if an HIA student accidentally buys it.
You have until the end of the workshop.
Yeah. It would be easier for HIA students and alum to just not.
Yeah, because once it's in my bank account, you can't have it no more. Once it's over there, it's already getting into my tax account.
Yeah, our accountant might get mad at us.
Yeah, exactly. I'm doing the 30-day challenge. When flagging your different posts, should you use tags over and over or change them up each post? Is it a common tag throughout your posts a good idea?
So she's referring to the Instagram 30-day challenge. That's a free challenge that's linked down below. You guys are free to grab that and start doing it if you want to start building up for the holidays. You want to change out your hashtags and mix them up, though. Instagram has stated that when you are just repeatedly like pasting the same string of hashtags over and over again, you're not going to see as good of impact by doing that. They want to see you mixing it up and try to get different ones in there. Every once in a while, there will be like a term that just fits. Like, for example, I do Etsy, hashtag Etsy in all of mine. Yeah, that's most of my topics that I'm talking about are Etsy related. So I'll do hashtag Etsy, but I'll change it up. I'll do hashtag Etsy sellers, hashtag Etsy shop, hashtag Etsy coach, hashtag Etsy listing. And then I'll change it up and do hashtag Etsy love, hashtag Etsy sellers of Instagram. So if you can mix it up, that's usually best. I know that this sounds crazy, but I recommend just typing them out by hand and just adding the ones that come to mind first. Because if you do that, if you just go based on what comes to mind first, and you've got a couple, that you kind of circulate through, they will seldom be in the exact order every time because you're never going to remember them in the exact order. That's how I do it.
Like I said, I'm going to prioritize paid questions.
Oh, of course.
Is HA a one-time purchase or semi-annual? So it's a one-time purchase.
Yes.
If you're on our email list, it's $9.97 one-time payment, or you can do 6 months at $199. And if you pay it off by the 4th month, I'll cut off the last payment with the extra funding.
Yes, but it's lifetime access. Once you're in for life. There's no renewal.
And other than full-size courses that we do in the future, you'll get the majority of our paid content for free, like boot camps and things like that. You get all of that for free.
Yeah, so technically in the long run, you're saving money with HAA, and you get a year of eRank Pro, so that saves you. That's another $120.
We pay out of pocket for that. We don't get that for free.
Yeah, that's another $120 thing that you get. But with the boot camp, for anybody who's attending that, that's a good little sample of my teaching, and you also get a month of eRank Pro with that. So,
and if you're interested, do you have a link down below for the HAA waiting list?
Yeah, they can also go to handmadealphaacademy.com.
Yep, if you go to, well, that's a lot more difficult to type in, especially if you're on phone. Should I start a digital product store starting off Christmas products? Do what you want to do.
Sure.
Yeah, whatever.
I would. You could do it. You can technically do whatever you want.
Do whatever you want as long as it ain't against the law.
Yeah, I
That's
would.
What I think.
But we just showed the stats for eRank on searches for Christmas products, and they're already starting. So if you haven't already created all those items,
you better get your button gear.
I would definitely get your button gear and start. Otherwise, I would create a shop thinking more about holidays after January.
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's, yeah.
You can make adult products.
You could.
I'm new to Etsy.
You can do anything.
Exactly. I'm new to Etsy in the process of posting my first few listings. I'm trying to find a niche. I'm also a graphic designer and illustrator. I've already cards. Any info or advice for my first listings?
You're trying to find a niche for your cards. Cards doesn't tell me anything. Who are they for? What is the style? You said
Do you have a specific theme?
Yeah. Are you selling cards? All of your cards have watercolor flowers on them. Are you selling cards for a specific type of person? Are they all birthday cards? That's where I would start with your niche. Your niche is going to either be,
what are they and who are you selling them to?
Yeah, your niche can either be the type of card. It could be specifically the type of occasion. It could be the type of style that's on the card. For example, we talked about Amber Marie. She does pet portraits. Obviously, her cards are for people who have very specific dog breeds. Nobody who doesn't have a, Burmese mountain dog is going to buy a Burmese mountain dog card. They're going to buy one because they either have a Burmese mountain dog or they're buying one for somebody who they love who has a Burmese mountain dog. So look at your art. And you should probably, before you develop a bunch of products, you should probably think about who your niche is. That way you can make products for them. You don't want to put the cart before the horse. Think about who you're trying to sell to before you make the thing. It's like when you think of all those failed as seen on TV products that you look at them and you're like, who the heck would buy this? It's because they thought of the product before they thought if there was actually a need for it. And then they tried to sell it and nobody wanted it. So make sure that you know who you're selling for. And everything that comes after that is so much easier. Like, your marketing, making sure that you're actually targeting your marketing appropriately, making sure that you are using the imagery that they like, the wording that they like, using hashtags and keywords that they're more likely to search. So. Okay,
so good question. Will HAA students get a link to the bootcamp training or is it somewhere on the HAA site? I haven't actually decided yet. I'm going to try to import all of the currently existing HAA students on the website into the new site for the bootcamp specifically. If that works, you'll get a link in your email, as long as you weren't one of the stinkers that is unsubscribed from the Handmade Alpha Academy student mailing list for some reason. There are like 300 of you. But I will probably also put something on the dashboard on the Handmade Alpha Academy website for once you're logged in for you to go to the bootcamp website. So
yeah, and I'm also going to post it in the Facebook group and stuff for students.
Yeah. and then you'll just log in. Like you'll probably have to go to the login page. It'll probably be your email address or your username. Again, we haven't figured this stuff out yet. I still have to figure it out. I'm gonna try to just.
That's the weekend task.
Yeah, that's the weekend task. So once I have that figured out, you guys will know. It'll come out in an email. It'll be in the HA dashboard. It'll be everywhere that you have access to, as long as you haven't removed yourself from that communication.
But if you don't have access by the 26th, send an email to support@handmadealphaacademy.com. That way he knows and he can make sure you get in.
And I'll send instructions too. More than likely for you HA students, you're probably just going to have to go over to the website, put in either your email or username, whatever it ends up being, and just click reset password, and it should send you an email to reset your password. How does being found by your shop name affect rank?
I don't think it does.
Yeah, I don't think it does either.
No, I mean, I will say that if you are being found for your shop name, that's fantastic. It's great when your main keywords that you're being found for are your shop name. That's how my shop was, and that's how 𝔸𝕒𝕒𝕟 is. We get found for our shop by name. That's fantastic, but it's more of a brand authority thing. I don't think that it's necessarily going to have any impact on your rank itself. If it does, it's not anything that Etsy tells us.
Do you recommend separate shops for digital, printable, physical products? Depends on if there's a cohesive theme between the two.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that make sure that you're putting some type of label on your thumbnails that say like digital and physical. That way they know. But if it's all like, oh, I do, cards. Here you can get the physical print of the card, but here's a digital copy if you want to print it yourself. As long as you're labeling them appropriately, so that the customer knows what it is that they're buying and they don't get mad at you because they thought they were buying a physical item and they got a digital.
Thematic. That's all that matters. If you're selling something that's similar between the two, then you should be fine. If you're somebody that sells woven baskets and anime girl mouse pads, you probably shouldn't put those in the same shop, right?
Cohesive.
How many listings do you guys pump out a day?
What? Wow. That's...
I'll pump them out. No. If I were to say when it came to the actual jewelry shop and we were still running that, between not making the product, we'll assume it starts at photography. Hold on. It starts at photography, so taking pictures, editing pictures, building the listing, doing the SEO. I'd say probably 2 hours per listing.
How many listings do you guys pump out a day? So how many listings a day? You don't need to pump out listings a day.
Pump them out.
I launched my 6-figure Etsy shop. We launched 4 times a year. We had 4 launches every year. We had a spring launch, a summer launch, a fall launch, and a winter launch. You don't need to be pumping out mass numbers of listings a day. That is such a...
Unless you're a new shop that sells supplies or something like. There are times when some people do need to pump out a lot of listings.
Yeah, if you're a new shop and you're just getting started, or if you're in a digital category or a category that sells lower priced items like stickers, it's not that big of a deal to constantly add new items. But there are shops where having a lot of items isn't a good thing. If your shop advertises that you make hand hammered blacksmith, raw diamond engagement rings that you claim to make by hand, and I go into your shop and you have 1,000 listings, I'm immediately going to be suspicious of you. There is no way that you made 1,000 of those.
Yeah, I'm immediately going to look at the when your shop started thing.
Yeah.
If your shop didn't start 15 years ago, then I don't believe you.
So that's a metric that you shouldn't focus on. How many listings do you pump out a day? None right now. I don't think that we've added new listings in 𝔸𝕒𝕒𝕒𝕒 for...
Her voice is someone just said the word moist. Yeah. I hope that irked some of you.
My face. Yeah, that's how it feels. Yeah. Don't focus on that.
Anyway.
And if somebody gave you that advice, just if you want to do a lot of listings a day, that's fine. But please understand that is not necessary.
Oh, I got this one. When you owned your Etsy shop, what was the most stressful moment you experienced, and how did you handle it?
Now, just to be clear, I do have 2 more Etsy shops. One of them you know about, one of them you don't know about. This person is referring to the big Etsy shop that I ran for 9 years. What is the...
Mine would probably be when our big competitor tried to dox us. You remember when they did that? They tried to have their crowd attack us. We had, and it ended up turning out great. We had a big competitor, which, if you don't know, she sold fantasy-themed keys.
Yeah.
We were not the first people to sell fantasy-themed keys.
No, there were tons of sellers. And
I have to deal with him.
Okay. We had a competitor.
Go. Come on. What, Nugget?
We had a competitor who also made fantasy-themed keys, but they wanted to claim that they were the only person allowed to sell skeleton keys online.
Boy.
And so they made this big, long post on DeviantArt to their audience, telling their audience to come attack me. And their audience was so mad at them for doing that, they ended up attacking that brand. And then that brand, 2 years later, they had a big Christmas launch, and then they didn't ship any of their items.
Yeah, they had a big blowout, but they sold on their own website, so they didn't have Etsy to back up the customers. But yeah, they sold on their own website and ended up not shipping like 99% of the things, and then just went dark.
Yeah,
so they sold like over $100,000 worth of stuff at least, and then just ghosted everybody.
And then I kind of like stood in, and a lot of their customers would message me and say, hey, I bought this thing from a brand like yours, but mine never arrived. And then I was just there like waiting. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh no, we blasted them.
Here's my
they got destroyed. They tried to blast us, and we did have people come and like give us crap, but most of their audience wasn't cool with it. And we told our audience what happened, and our audience went and just absolutely ate them alive. Their audience was bigger than ours by a long shot.
It was very stressful. It was one of those things where, I made it a point to never do anything that they did. I would look at what they were doing to make sure I wasn't doing the same thing.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of people using their audiences to attack people. I think it's a dirty tactic, and it can cause a lot of problems. People get killed that way. Like, people legitimately get hurt, and they tried to dox us. So
second most stressful thing, and this ties into last week's Etsy Nightmares Q&A or Friday Bean episode, was we under-ordered chains for our jewelry. For the holidays, and we had hundreds of orders, and we had no chains, and it was the chains that we bought were sterling silver coming from China. We had to wait like 4 weeks for those to come in, so we had to go buy sterling silver chain from a craft store and cut it ourselves.
Put the links on ourselves.
Put the clasps on ourselves.
Oh, it was awful.
It was a nightmare.
No.
He's being naughty.
He wants mama.
I'll take him if he's being bad.
Mama.
Come get on. Mama.
Go on, go get... Or don't.
He didn't.
I'll take him upstairs if he starts being a jerk. Hi. Hello. I have a woman hair accessory shop because of the limited selection. I have... Section. I have sorted them in what kind they are. Hair clips, hair fork, bobby pins, etc. and not style. Continues. My customers are women who want unique hair accessories no matter the style. How would you sort that by the section? The style or the kind?
I would say that the type of product would probably be your best bet.
That's yeah.
Think about when you go to a clothing store. Things aren't sorted by
color.
Right. They're not sorted by red shirts, blue shirts, yellow shirts. They're sorted by t-shirts, tank tops, long sleeve, sweatshirts. Do it by item, like the type of item specifically, because that's how shoppers are thinking.
Hello.
Have
you seen any negative impacts on using the same tags for a specific niche on all that niche's listing?
No, that's a positive thing. Like we talked about, it's topical consistency. It is making sure that Etsy knows what you want to be known for. That whole thing where people say, oh, don't use the same keywords, you'll compete with yourself. That's impossible, and you can disprove it right now. Go find... any search term. And if you see a seller on the first page for that search term more than once, you've already disproved that you can compete with yourself. Competing with yourself could only happen if everybody could only rank one time for every term that they use. It is absolutely nonsensical. You can use the same exact keywords in your listings. And if you are selling, white marble tumblers, and they're all white marble tumblers, but maybe they all have different designs on them. This one has a cat, the next one has a dog, but they're all marble tumblers, then you're going to use those keywords in all your listings. Always try to be topically consistent, because it tells Etsy that you want to be known for marble tumblers.
Why do some people have literally 4 words in their bestsellers item title, and I study SEO, write a nice title, and get no views? Okay.
I have a great video that covers this exact thing, and it is called, Is Etsy SEO Unfair? It is on my channel right now. The thumbnail is orange. Please go watch that video. In short, those listings, there are many reasons why they could be ranking higher than yours. Most of the time, it is due to high listing quality scores. What you cannot figure out on your own is how they accumulated those listing quality scores.
No, they could have been shouted out. They can themselves might be an influencer, and you don't see any of their traffic because maybe they're a TikToker and you don't follow that particular stream of TikToks, or you haven't fallen upon them. Maybe they're an Instagram thing. Maybe a celebrity shouted them out. Maybe they were featured on the news.
Maybe they listed that item before they had any competitors, and that listing has just been selling perpetually over and over and over again. The keywords are not the only factor that makes you rank. In fact,
one of.
Right. In fact, they're not even the strongest factor that helps you to rank or to build a listing quality score, which is ultimately what places you in search and determines where you're going to be. I highly recommend, like I said, watch that free Etsy SEO workshop, The Science of Etsy Success. That's linked down below. That is a huge workshop that I did. It's only 20 minutes long, but the content is amazing. And then watch the Is Etsy SEO Unfair video, because it's not unfair. It's just growing listing quality scores. That's the real game. Keyword optimization is just one teeny tiny part of the game. The real game is building your listing quality.
And people getting shouted out happens very frequently. I mean, it just happened to eRank. I think it happened to us somewhere that we can't identify because we've gotten like almost 5,000 subs in the last like 4 weeks.
Hey, shout out if you guys are new.
Hey, welcome. Is there a chat you can go in for Etsy support? Yes, there is an Etsy support chat if you have at least one sale and you have no strikes against your shop.
It'll be located in the bottom right corner of your Etsy seller dashboard if you have it.
And I think they're still integrating it, so some of you might not have it yet. I have 2 listings that are ranking well. I have multiple other listings that are practically exactly the same, but not ranking nearly as well. Should I just add the colors to the ranking one? You can. It's totally up to you.
Sure, if they're the same, if they're like the same item, but they just have different variations.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, that could help. I would, you could still keep some separate if you've got like an infinite quantity or something. That would be fine too, but I don't see any issue with it.
How long is too long to wait to respond to messages on Black Friday? It's my son's birthday that day, and I don't really want to be on my phone during the hour of his party. Just be off of it for the hour of his party. It's the unfortunate thing about running a business is sometimes you're going to have to like miss events and have issues with events. There's a lot of stuff that goes on.
Yeah, if you can create yourself some swipe files for commonly asked questions, those are just copy and paste messages, or you can save them in your Etsy snippets. That way you can just pop those right in and send them quick. Definitely don't take away from your kiddo's birthday, but maybe have some time before the party and some time after the party set aside. Odds are you're not going to get flooded with messages unless your products are really confusing, but maybe give yourself a little bit of time to answer questions before and after. Is he being really bad?
I'm going to take him upstairs. Blubbers.
He is. He's trying to pull cords out of the camera because he's...
Yep, because he's a jerk.
I'm taking him upstairs. You gotta go away. You're being a nuisance. Scroll up, I had something highlighted.
Oh, okay.
I have to keep going down because we're so far behind.
All right, let's see. Another YouTuber suggested hiding your sales to keep competitors from copying your ideas. What's your opinion? That's silly because with eRank, you can use the competition tracking tools and you can see everything that your competitors are doing. That's silly. Don't hide your sales numbers. That's that.
Just like in the corporate world, hiding the money that you make is a very like 1970s mindset. It's silly. It doesn't apply in a modern world.
Yeah, that's silly. There are so many ways to be able to and keep competitors from copying what ideas? What ideas are you hiding by hiding your sales numbers?
You can't hide your listings.
They can see your listings.
It's your cat's name, Butters. No, it's Bubbers with B's.
Butters.
Butters.
Butters. Let's see. Up one. Blake.
How do I translate my store to socials?
Do you mean how do you put your...
Yes.
Create...
Instagram, Facebook.
Create business accounts and make sure that your shop is linked. And I know that Instagram shopping, a lot of Etsy sellers have set that up, and apparently it's a pain in the butt, but you can make sure that your listings are shoppable on Instagram. I just hear it's a pain, so I can't advise you on how to do it because I personally have never done it. But business accounts, and start diving into the business suites associated with those business accounts because they'll walk you through everything that you should be doing to kind of optimize them. And then be consistent with your posting and marketing, which we've got tons of videos on, and we've got the boot camp taking place on the 26th that'll talk about that as well.
Thanks for making me finally start doing reels 12 months after you gave the advice. They're easy and not that much work as I thought in fear. Yeah, no, it's better just to just get on it. Get on it and do it.
We had a reel go viral. It got 47,000 views. And it was the stupidest thing ever.
It had nothing to do with business whatsoever.
It was just me and Mark realizing that we went out of the house wearing the same shirt. And for some reason, it got so many views. I don't know why.
I was wondering, I get a lot of likes on listings in my Etsy shop, but no purchases. What am I doing wrong? It is impossible to say.
Yeah, there's no way to say.
Are your pictures great? Are your terms actually describing the product that you're selling? Does the product look like it's the quality that you're charging for? Is it worth the quality or worth the price that you're sticking on it?
Yeah. Is your price too high? Is your price too low?
Yeah.
Are they looking at your price and saying, well, I like this item, but the price is so cheap that it probably isn't very good quality? Or are they looking at it and saying, wow, literally every single other shop is selling this for so much less. Why is this person's so expensive? There are so many things. Favorites are a good indication that it's being found, but it's the only real thing that you can learn from favorites. Don't hang on favorites too much because they're not useful other than seeing that people are finding you. There's not really any way that you can make someone buy after they favorited. I would recommend just making sure that your listing is clear to people and maybe experiment with some new thumbnails. That's always a good way to, try to get people more engaged if they're not. Could just be an issue with the angle that you're presenting your item or the lighting.
Somebody said there is a spot to add your website in the About section
Yes.
at the bottom of the page. Yeah, but that's the only spot.
Yeah.
Don't put it anywhere else.
You can put your shop there.
So the boot camp is focused on marketing.
Yes,
Mark?
the boot camp is marketing. It is marketing no matter where you sell. It is marketing for social media and driving people into your website or Etsy shop. It's not Etsy specific. Wherever you sell, it is to help boost your brand's marketing over the social media or over the holiday season so that you can optimize for that big, huge holiday shopping rush for Cyber Week that we talk about.
All right, we've got 13 minutes left, so we're going to be a little less descriptive with our answers so we can get through this absolutely massive mound of questions we have built up here.
If you have boot camp related questions, can you make sure that you put a wolf emoji in that, like in your comment? Just type in wolf into the emojis box. That way we can make sure that we answer those because we know that you
They
guys
can email us about those
That's
if they have
true.
specific questions. Just if you have a question that hasn't yet been answered about the boot camp, send us a reply to one of the emails that we've sent out.
Or send one to support@handmadealphaacademy.com or starla@handmadealphaacademy.com.
Support will get you a response faster.
Yeah.
The customers leave a negative review that a seller made a mistake, so seller need to send them a new one or leave it. How do you handle a customer to change or update the positive review?
You can ask them. That's about all you can do, though.
Yeah, once you've done everything to resolve the problem.
Politely ask them if they would be willing to revise their review. That's what Etsy recommends. Etsy themselves say that, once issues are resolved, maybe ask the customer if you're satisfied with your new product, would you mind updating your review to reflect, your current product? So, yeah.
Will the boot camp remain in HA past 1/1/23? No, because it's going to get updated every year and the content isn't relevant after the holidays.
There's parts of it that are. There's a couple parts that I might, like the press release part.
We'll see. We don't know yet. We don't know what we will be keeping. Maybe we might add some extras maybe into the bonuses section or something.
Yeah.
We'll see. Will you be covering handmade jewelry seller selling live on Facebook in the boot camp?
I will be covering hosting live events, hosting live sales, ways to keep your audience engaged. I will be giving you prompts and different things like games, virtual games and things that you can play with your live audience. I will not be covering specifics of how to go live or software to use. So if you're looking for software suggestions, I'll have a couple, different ones that you can use that I'll mention.
We will not be providing support on how to use software. Please do not email me on how to use software.
Because the softwares that you can use are all different. But if you're just planning on hitting the go live button on your phone, absolutely. I'm going to talk about all different ideas. And we're also going to have a fantastic example from 𝔸𝕚𝕚𝕚 because she, when it comes to live selling of her pet portraits, she does an amazing job. It's like watching like a little commercial. It's beautiful. And people are live just buying. So Yes, we are going to cover that.
Is it against Etsy's rules to have two shops selling the same items? If it's the same listings and everything, yes. If it's the same type of item but totally different listings, then probably technically not. But there would be no point in that. So
Yeah.
unless it's like two different niches.
Yeah. If they're the exact same items, that is against the rules.
How would you word joining your mailing list / freebie in your announcement section or banner as words like grab, get yours is on Etsy, no list?
What? So
how would you word getting your mailing list / freebie in your announcement section or banner as words like grab, get yours are on Etsy's no list?
No, they're not.
No, I don't think so.
No, they're not. Where did you hear that? Etsy doesn't have a no list for words. You can say.
I mean, I'm sure they do.
Yeah,
but that's not those ones.
No, you're fine. Shop announcement. Are you offering an automatic discount code that sends out via your welcome email for their first purchase? I would recommend doing something like that. That's what's going to drive people to join. They usually need an incentive. So I would say to save 20% off on your order, paste this link into your browser for an instant coupon code. And if they're already about to make a purchase and then they can find out that they can save 20%, yeah, why wouldn't they join? So that's what I recommend.
I don't know if you're aware, but Etsy on sale last year had a massive bug where they used the cost of out of the UK price, which is higher than UK as I incorporate shipping. So I lost probably 2/3 of my sales I would have had on Black Friday because I didn't notice there was this issue. I reported the bug, but they never replied. Do you know if this bug is still there? I have no idea. We don't sell in the UK. So.
I have no idea. I would recommend checking the bottom right corner of your Etsy shop dashboard, seeing if you have the chat button, and asking Etsy. That'll be a question for them.
I've got some apples. My store primarily sells cake toppers, but we also sell Christmas ornaments for the holiday season. Should I create a second store just for ornaments to avoid scattered looking listings page?
Do they have any type of cohesive style that goes along with them? If you're just tossing a couple ornaments in for the holidays and
it's not going to kill your shop.
Yeah, if you're just tossing a couple ornaments in for the holidays and then getting rid of them. I mean, technically it's all kind of you could frame it as all being like holiday party themed items. I don't think that they're too far off. If it was stuff that you were going to leave in your shop all year, might be a little weird, but it's just like people adding in masks to their shops when masks were in demand. We saw a lot of shops that did not specialize in masks that had a few masks, and I didn't really see a big deal with it because they were in demand. So,
okay, Susie Q said she posted a $10 super chat and is not seeing it. If you use terminology like Instagram or anything like that, there's a very good chance that it did not go through simply because we have those terms blocked to avoid spam bots. Yeah. But it would have popped up on our screen. I see no approved super chats. Does repeating the same keywords in titles, tags, descriptions help that keyword rank higher?
In the same listing saying gold necklace, silver necklace, red necklace, blue necklace, gemstone necklace, necklace for mom. No, you only need to say a keyword once per listing, once in your title. You only need to say it once in your description. You only need to say it once in your tags. You can say it more than once if you want an exact match for multiple terms. If you mean in multiple listings, like can all of your listings say, white marble tumbler, yeah, if that's what the listings all are, that's a good thing. You're telling Etsy that's what you want to be known for. It's not going to make you rank higher, but it's going to tell Etsy that when customers are looking for white marble tumblers, one of your listings might be the best listing to recommend for that shopper's customization and personalized search.
Hi, I'm reopening my shop after being closed for almost 3 years. I make plushies, dolls, and baby sensory items. My question is, being out of the loop so long, what's the biggest thing I should focus on? Because
you're making things for babies, I would make sure that you are double checking all of the laws and making sure that you are reading Etsy's most recent law about child sleep items. Rule. It is based on a law for children's sleep safety standards.
Because those change frequently.
Yeah, the latest ones have completely removed most sellers' listings that are tagged as children's pajamas and things. So that would be the number one thing, assuming that you already know that because you specialize in children's products. SEO changes all the time. I would focus there, start there. That's the number one thing. And I've got
Tons of videos.
Yeah, I have a playlist on my channel called Evergreen Etsy SEO. Watch those because those are evergreen advice. It's advice that is up to date.
I saw on another blog yesterday that tags should not have capital letters. Does it throw out people's searches? No, that's stupid. Ignore whoever wrote that. That's absolutely asinine.
Etsy is not case sensitive.
Etsy's not case sensitive at all. That's stupid. Quit listening to idiots. I love you guys. Sorry. If I say something stupid, tell me I'm stupid. I'm going to tell someone if they say something stupid. And that was stupid.
Yeah, not you. You're not stupid.
You're not stupid.
You're not stupid. The person who wrote the blog, they might not be stupid, but it was a stupid thing to say.
Sounds pretty stupid to me.
If they cannot tell... here's the thing. If people say dumb things and you can't figure out where they got the information, ask them to source it. If they can,
source. Source, please.
Ask them for a source. If they cannot...
everything in life, not just Etsy. Ask for a frickin' source.
If they cannot source it, think of it just like high school and college. If they cannot source it, then take it with a grain of salt.
Coming up on the end, and I'm getting hungry and I'm getting sassy. What's the best way to as a seller to contact Etsy with a question? If you have the chat, contact them in the chat. If you don't have the chat, contact them through their support email, which is...
if you click on the left-hand side of your Etsy seller dashboard where all your little menus are, there's going to be one where you can click through a gazillion menus to get a way to contact them. It's a pain in the butt. It's like...
Well, when you have over 4 million active sellers, they have to make it kind of hard. Well, HA students... I already answered all these.
I need a link to Amber Shop. It is 𝔸𝕚𝕚𝕚𝕒 Studio. You can go to 𝔸𝕚𝕚𝕚𝕚studio.com.
If you type in 𝔸𝕚𝕚𝕚𝕚 on Etsy, it'll probably be one of the first things you see.
I think �alphaDapt comes up.
Actually, I think if you type in @𝔸𝕚𝕚𝕚𝕚 on Etsy, I still think you get
inappropriate pictures.
Nudies. Yeah, I think somebody's got nudies up there too.
Not of Amber. Somebody also named Amber. Amber Marie Portrait Studio. If you Google it, Amber Marie Portrait Studio Etsy, her shop will come up. She's also got an interview where she talks about making $500,000 on Etsy on my channel, and her shop is linked in that.
Commenting on my sass. I am sassy. I'm hungry. What do you think about multiple shops made from the same material? I use polymer clay, thinking of making a gothic clay shop, maybe an ocean core. Yeah,
sure.
Different genres. You could also make one shop that does collections. Maybe you do a goth collection in the spring, and maybe summer rolls around and you do a mermaid collection. Maybe your thing is just a type of clay thing. It's up to you.
I love this one. Read that one.
Do high-profile celebrity or influencers shop on Etsy? Oh boy, do they!
Ashton Kutcher purchased Mila Kunis's engagement ring on Etsy. There's your fun fact of the day. Of course they do.
We've had more than one of our students in Hollywood movies and TV shows.
Yeah, Rhinus Leatherworks. You guys need to go watch their interview because it did not get nearly enough views, but they had their armor purchased for the last season of Lucifer from Etsy. They're now doing costume design for a Disney series. So, yeah, absolutely.
Did you add any Jewish graphics to the holiday graphics in HAA?
I did not, Linda, but I'm not completely done. You mean in HAA? I don't think so.
I don't think so. I don't think we added any Christian either. We tend to avoid religious stuff because we don't want to piss anyone off and start our unnecessary arguments.
I think that I kept it all very, generic. Mm-hmm. I think I kept it,
non-denominational.
Wreaths and snowflakes and... I think I kept it winter, but I probably can when we start building, because we're still working on the graphics. You guys are getting a bunch of graphics with the boot camp. I can see if I can add some to that if you want. If you want me to include some.
Should we put our shop name in our tags?
You can if you want to.
If you want to rank for your shop name, but unless you have something really unique or something catchy that people are going to be typing in, then you probably won't.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got an extra tag, why not?
Doesn't hurt it. Sorry, I'm going through where we were talking.
Did we have any with the wolves?
One, and I answered it already.
Oh, okay. Just making sure.
I've got eyeballs, woman.
He's got it.
Just careful with the mermaid stuff. Yeah, with the new movie coming out, be careful with all that.
Yeah, make sure that you don't use Little Mermaid or anything related to the Little Mermaid.
Somebody said Ursula.
Yeah, Disney's lawyers are going to be on that. They're probably already on it.
HAA question: does it cover using Pinterest to market your Etsy shop?
HAA is an Etsy course. So we do touch on social media marketing as a general thing, but if you need Pinterest advice, you need to buy a Pinterest course. HAA is an Etsy course. It is going to teach you how to market your Etsy shop. It's going to teach you general marketing for all of the best social media platforms. It's going to teach you strategies to market and how to grow your audience and email list. But if you specifically need Pinterest strategies, I would look for a Pinterest course.
All right, and we had cool, you got it to come through. What do you do?
Oh, thank you.
What do you do with competitors who buy your items? Throw them to the wolves.
If you know that they've placed an order, like you see the order come in and it's a competitor.
And you know they're a competitor.
Yeah. Sometimes competitors buy things to be polite. I think that it's really up to you. If you don't feel comfortable with it, you are allowed to fire a customer. You are allowed to say, and maybe add something into your not your policies, but into your like FAQ sections. I would say, you could just ask them. Yeah.
So there's a lot of different approaches to this.
That's hard.
It's difficult. So there's a lot of things to consider. For one, how big are they? So if it's somebody kind of new and up and coming, then I don't see a problem with just letting them do it. Maybe they're trying to see how you package your products. Maybe they want to see what the quality is of yours over theirs. Just follow them. If it concerns you, you can refund the order, and you can say, this person's a competitor. I don't want them to have my item. If you let them keep it, I would watch them. Just be careful that they're not duplicating your items, that they're not posting your items maybe on social media and saying, well, theirs are crap, look at mine.
She said I found out after she received it.
I found out after she received it. That's totally fine. Just keep an eye on them. They're probably no harm, no foul. More than likely, they're just trying to compare. If they start copying your designs, I would immediately get with Etsy on that. I wouldn't even, because there's nothing you could do contacting them. At that point, I would get with Etsy, say, this is a competitor. They bought my item, and now they're replicating it.
Yeah.
So as long as they're not replicating your item or publicly blasting you on social media, which is another thing that they could do, then yeah. And if they leave a bad review, that's obviously something you need to immediately. Don't even communicate with them and immediately report that to Etsy.
And Little Moon Nico asked, how do you know that they're a competitor, though? If you go and click on their name from your order, you can see their shop, if they've got an Etsy shop.
Yeah, and you can type their name. If you type in name, go to Google and type in, say, like, who was it that had it? Yeah, Little Moon Nico Etsy. There's a very good chance it'll be that, if that was your real name. So, yeah.
Yeah.
We are at the end point. Make sure that you like the video if you haven't already. I know there's a butt-ton of you here. Thank you for coming and watching our content. We love you guys. And
we appreciate it.
We want you guys to succeed. So
yeah, and if you guys want to check out the boot camp, once again, that you're going to get a 35% discount if you join on Monday. You guys asked if we could run it at like a limited discount. I said yes. I actually let HAA, it was actually the public community. I asked you guys to price the program. I said, what sounds fair to you? Here's what's going to be in it. You guys tell me what I should price it. Some of you guys were like, $250, $500. I'm like, okay, this all sounds nice. We'll do it at $100, but we're going to do $65, so 35% discount on the 19th. That's Monday.
Yes, day one.
That is going to be for 24 hours starting at midnight Sunday night.
Midnight to midnight. Well, it's probably 12:01 to 11:59.
Mm-hmm. So if you want to save, some money, sign up on the 19th. Down below, there is a page that's going to outline everything that's going to be included with the boot camp, everything that's going to take place, everything. There's a FAQ section, and there's a little button that you can click, and you can sign up to be on our priority pricing list. This is just an email list where I'm going to be able to send you that discount link when it opens so you don't miss that 24-hour window. After that, it's going to go up to normal price, which is $100. It's going to be $100 on the 20th and the 21st. So that's our general pricing. On the 22nd, that price is going to go up one more time to $120 because that $20 extra is going to be allotted to St. Jude's Children's Hospital for the holidays.
And I leave for a festival the next day, so it's a convenience cost for you.
We did a press release for the program. It was featured in Fox. It was featured in ABC. It was featured in NBC. It was featured in International Business Times. And it was featured in AP Press. What is that?
Alternative press.
Alternative press.
I
That
think so. AP News.
yeah, I keep thinking like the AP magazine, like that
Yeah,
we used
it
to
was
have when we were
it was everywhere.
but
And we're gonna show them how to do that, right?
we
We're
are
gonna show you how to get featured.
Yeah, we're gonna.
We were featured in like 486 different.
No, it was 200 something.
Oh,
286.
no, it wasn't. It was like 400 something.
No, it was 200 something.
Well, whatever. I'm stupid. Leave me alone.
But either way, we're going to teach you guys how to do that, how to do press releases. We have somebody from the alpha community who is going to be offering press writing for you guys for a super duper cheap price.
Comparatively, it's usually really expensive to have somebody write your releases for you.
She's doing it for $35.
That's really cheap.
Yeah.
Most people will charge you like 500.
So if you end up wanting to do a press release, all you have to do is shoot her over a questionnaire filled out, and she'll do it for you.
Hey, also, you get what else do they get included?
Month of E-Rank Pro.
Month of E-Rank Pro for
Yeah.
free.
You're such a good little salesman. He's so cute when he's selling
We probably
things.
won't. For HAA, we pay for the full year, but we probably won't have to pay for the months. But you're going to get it either way.
Yeah.
Because we love you, as long as you don't refund.
But if you have any questions, if you end up refunding the boot camp, then you can also get to keep the E-Rank.
Please take Mark to lunch.
I'm going
Stupid,
to.
sassy, and moist. That's me. Memories from Mark. I can't pronounce that. Are juicy today. Everything is juicy today. It's always juicy. All the news is juicy, and the Etsy is juicy, and your shops are juicy, and you're juicy. You're juicy, stupid, sassy, and moist.
Apparently.
We love you guys.
According to Fire Queen.
According to Fire Queen. That's all of us. We are the stupid, sassy, moist crew.
We should make the t-shirts.
I wish Amber was here, because then we could do the stupid. No, somebody's probably got that.
Copyright.
Somebody's probably got that copyright. Stupid, sassy, moist crew.
What is going on in our chat right now?
What is going on? It's the end of the chat and nobody's here. We love you guys. And look out next week. We may or may not have a Friday Bean next week. I don't particularly care, but she's probably going to want to do her festival makeup and everything and not going to want to be on camera for that.
No.
So we'll see. If not, we'll have a video next week critiquing Instagram shops. Right?
The video next week, if it's not live, it's going to stream live, so you guys will still have the live chat where you can talk to each other, and you'll watch it like it's live. It'll be basically the same thing. We just won't actually be here. So
yeah. So hearts in the